Right now, it's already starting to kind of melt. It's not holding its nice cube shape. Look at that. A nice little time lapse. Steamy rice. Is that sesame oil? That is a lot of sesame oil. Please don't tell me you're going to sear that off with sesame oil. Oh, no. Chef Brian Tsao here, not your typical chef, owner of Mission Sandwich Social, located right here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, winner of Beat Bobby Flay Season 1, and today I'm going to be reacting to Babish Culinary Universe video, Transforming Furikake Gohan from Food Wars, Anime with Alvin Joe. Before I go on with today's episode, I do want to give a special shout out to my newest sous chef level patrons, Fable and Flourish, Odul Gersimic, and Cameron Johnson. Guys, thank you so much for your support. You, along with all the patrons, really do make a difference on this channel. And remember, by becoming a patron, you get to take advantage of some awesome perks like early access to new episodes, patron exclusive content, and even extended versions of certain episodes. Food Wars, baby. Don't forget, I already reacted to the actual Food Wars episode with Justin Wang. Be sure to check that out. May get demonetized again. That was terrible.
Of Anime with Alvin, where this week we're going to be taking a look at the Transforming Furikake Gohan from Food Wars. Now that I'm done playing with my fake egg, I'm going to get started on the jelly-like stock that adds that transforming element to this dish. So in a large stainless steel pot over medium-high heat,
cornflakes?
bringing 700 milliliters
like
of water to a simmer, which can take quite a while. So I'm going to play some slide by myself. Just kidding, I have friends. Anyways, now that the water is simmering, I'm going to add in 30 grams of bonito flakes.
Bonito
and
flakes.
If I start dancing.
Okay. Am I remembering correctly, in Soma's broth, it was chicken wings, bonito, sake, soy sauce? And sugar was there? I don't remember exactly. Let me know in the comments if I'm remembering that correctly, but let's see what Alvin does.
Anyways, this is gonna sit for 10 minutes while the flavors infuse.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, you don't need to keep it at a rolling boil. Is that sesame oil? That is a lot of sesame oil. Before we go there though, please don't, that's chicken wings in the corner. Please don't tell me you're going to sear that off with sesame oil. The bonito, yes, it doesn't need much time at all. You just want to extract the flavors. It's already sliced so thin. There's so much surface area. Just pop it in there for a couple seconds, minutes. And like he said, he took it off the heat source and he's letting it steep for like 10 minutes off camera. That's exactly how I would have done it. Great job.
Heating some sesame oil to fry.
No. I've reacted to another one of Alvin's video, the One Piece fruit, which, I had my criticisms, but, no denying that was a lot of work. He put a lot of hard work into it, but sesame oil is extremely fragrant. A little bit really does go a long way. Does it say sesame oil in Soma's video? If it does, even then, I would only put it at the, like a dash at the end. That is a lot of sesame oil, and it has a very low smoke point, so it's not really good for high heat applications like searing off your wings. If I was making this broth, I would have, put maybe a little oil, seasoned it with salt and maybe a touch of white pepper, something like that, and roasted it in the oven in really intense high heat to get that color. Yes, you can sear it too. That would work fine, but I would not use sesame oil. Sesame oil is, like I said, very pungent, and I'm not liking where this is going.
Which still have the wing tips attached, and these are going to get...
Yes, keep the wing tips. You want to extract as much gelatin as possible, so the wing tips is going to have a lot of that, and also you would throw out the wing tips normally anyway, and if you served it, the customer generally doesn't eat it, so great use of chicken wings with the wing tips if you're making a broth to extract the flavor and the gelatin. I do agree with that.
Beautiful golden brown jacket. While those are frying, I'm straining the bonito broth into this cup. Is this a cup? I don't know what this is. Now that the wings are getting a nice sizzle and a nice color, I'm going to flip each one until each side...
Listen, that's a great sear color on it. I'm pretty sure the fact that it's sesame oil and, there's all the things in sesame oil that give it that aroma and flavor. That's probably attaching itself onto the wings, adding to its color. There's no denying that's great color, but the main thing is the super pungent flavor. It's just going to be overwhelming unless he's making like 10 gallons of broth, which I don't think he is, especially if he wants to make it a gelatinous broth.
Golden brown and delicious. After these are brown, I'm going to put them right into a pot where I'm also going to dump in the bonito juice.
Yeah, I would go a little more wings for that quantity of broth that he's using there. I don't think that's going to extract enough gelatin to get the broth solidified enough where you can actually work with it and cut it into cubes like Soma in Food Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to reduce
and some soy sauce.
Soy sauce,
take
okay.
this thing out because I'm not sure if it does anything. Just like my college degree. I'm going to add some sugar.
Some
sake. That is also good enough to drink.
I mean, yes, there is sake in that broth, but I would have seared the wings in the pot, capture all the fond on the bottom of the pan, and then perhaps deglaze with the sake. I would have done it that way.
How would I know? I don't know. But this is some mirin and some grated ginger.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a
great.
That's a nice shot. Thanks, Brad. Giving these a stir with some chopsticks until things start smelling delicious. And watch.
I mean, that looks delicious, but I know there's going to be this overwhelming smell of sesame oil. I can't get over the fact he used the sesame oil to sear the wings. Was that in the show? I mean, I watched Uncle Roger's reaction, so maybe that part was cut out. Maybe I'm missing something. And if that is the case, let me know in the comments if that's the case. And while you're letting me know that in the comments, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and if you're not already, subscribe, because it's a little thing for you, but does great things for the channel to please the YouTube algorithm gods. Yeah, am I missing something? Did he sear it in sesame oil in the actual Food Wars episode? I don't know, but even then I don't agree with it either.
All those flavors just end up in this is a bowl. This is not a cup. This is a bowl. And these chicken wings, they're so delicious. They've been braising in all this stuff, and I'm eating all of these 7 chicken wings.
As
later,
I would too.
I'm now back to skim off the scum off the top of this broth. This is actually a trick my dad used to do when he was growing up. I mean, when I was growing up,
one way to do it.
He was not growing up anymore. He was growing fat. Sorry, Dad.
One way to skim off the fat is to actually let it sit overnight and then let the fat solidify and just peel it off. In this case, though, he wants to put the broth into these pans to shape them so he can cut them later. So yes, you can use a ladle and slowly skim it off, but also another method is to take pieces of paper towel and kind of just drag it across the top. That works just fine. It is more labor intensive though, and dirty, and you use more materials, but that's one tiny thing in the scope of making this entire dish.
These are square, so they can be cut into cubes later, and I do not want to...
Nice. I like that he didn't fill it too high. He's basically filling it to a point where that height is going to be the dimension. This is what I'm assuming is going to be the dimension of the cube he's going to ultimately cut. Because I'm also thinking about recreating this at some point. I have a lot of videos I want to do, and I only want to do one cooking video at a time, but this is one of them. In Food Wars, they showed this big hunky block, and he cut it this way and he cut it that way. He made all these tiny little cubes. That's going to be rather hard to work with because you don't want this too gelatinized to the point where it can pretty much like withstand being held at room temperature and manipulated meaning cut up, because it still needs to melt over warm rice. By doing this is actually very smart on Alvin's part. This is going to allow him to spend the least amount of time touching and manipulating this aspic so that he can cut it into the desired cube size before it melts in his hands. Because remember, the more you manipulate it and touch it, you're warming it up, then the more potential it's going to melt.
I'm slowly waddling off screen. While the broth is chilling in the fridge, I decided to put on a shirt because I'm cold. But these are some Herridge eggs with these beautiful rich amber yolks. I'm adding some white sugar, whisking them with my chopsticks. Because growing up in an Asian household,
I'm not a fan of the sugar in the eggs. I would have put the salt in the eggs because, with Soma's dish, he put scrambled eggs essentially. Maybe a touch of sugar, but that was a lot of sugar.
These are going into a nonstick
as an Asian,
pan
that is how you're taught to whisk eggs.
No oil or fat, just whisking them vigorously until these little curds form.
Yeah.
Look at these little dudes.
That looks about picture perfect to what was in Soma's video. Personally, I would have stopped the cooking process a little sooner, kept it a little creamier, but that's my personal preference. In the Food War, and it's an animation, so who knows for sure, but the way Soma did it in Food Wars, it looked like specific nuggets of egg. That's okay too, but personally for scramble, I do like a creamier scramble.
This is me cutting the scallion.
I do think it'll glue into the rice better.
For the garnish.
Nice. All right, beautifully cut scallion.
The stock we've chilled
Beautiful.
earlier.
Yep. Very smart.
And it's not going well over here. Well, at least I have jelly number 2, right? I really hope this one comes out a little bit better. Oh no. Basically, I didn't reduce it enough, so our wonderful kitchen producer Kendall told me that gelatin is thermoreversible, so we reduced it further, chilled it, and we set it again. It's alright. I'll take this one. It's not gonna get me into the elite 10, but hey, at least I'll be able to please the god tongue with this one. And look, little jiggly chicken soup cubes. I'm gonna mix these with the eggs until they are nice and combined. And now for the moment of truth.
I mean, everything he said is absolutely accurate. He didn't reduce it enough, or he could have put more chicken wing at the beginning. Either or works. If you're gonna reduce it more, you have to be careful about the amount of salt you put in at the beginning. So you really have to like have your recipe down. And that's going to take a few trials. I'm pretty sure this is his first time doing it on camera or close to it because, you know, that's one of the things that's endearing about Babish's videos is that they show the fuck ups. Personally, I would have put more chicken wings in there. And the main reason being that I don't have to do the guesswork of the reduction and the final product. So I have a lot more chicken wings. I know it's going to extract a ton more gelatin. I can flavor it and season it to the way I desire right at the beginning, and then I know, okay, this is roughly what I'm gonna get after I solidified it. You can also freeze it. I'm sure he didn't have that kind of time, you know, or maybe he didn't, that's what I'm assuming. You know, he just popped it in the fridge. I would have put it in the freezer overnight and then cut it, and then it would have been way easier to work with. The only downside of that is you have to work with it rather quickly. When it defrosts, it's gonna get a lot of condensation. So like I said, you're gonna have to work with it quickly if you wanna make that method work. Oh, no, that won't work because then it's gonna be extra cold when you put it into the egg. No, can't do it that way. You do need to put it in the fridge and just really let it sit, probably overnight, ideally.
Into a serving bowl, I'm spooning in some freshly
steamed rice,
steamed
beautiful,
fluffy white rice, and finally pouring over the egg and soup mixture right on top. Some of those sliced scallions we cut earlier to finish, and watch it transform.
Yeah, and you know, I said I would have gone with a creamier egg. This looks very authentic to what's on the show. If I did a creamier egg, that would kind of like the uncooked parts of that creamy egg would coat that gelatin, and then it wouldn't have this visual separation. So I do agree with it. I do think he should have reduced the aspic more, you know, because right now it's already starting to kind of melt. It's not holding its nice cube shape, but overall very, very good. Look at that. A nice little time lapse, steamy rice. Very cool.
And now I finally get to eat. You can really see that the soup absorbed into the rice and the egg, but how does it taste? I like this. And
you even have the chopstick holder. So guys, in the video with Justin, I was like, what is that? Is that a piece of meat? Is that a piece of Spam? Like, it didn't click in my brain that it's a chopstick holder. Of course, I know what a chopstick holder is, but it just didn't, it clicked afterwards. Like after I watched the edits of it, I was like, oh, that is a chopstick holder. Tons of you were like, that's a chopstick holder. That's a chopstick holder. And now I want to make a chopstick holder out of Spam, but I love that he's using a brown wooden chopstick holder, just like in the original video.
It's sweet, it's salty.
I'm so hungry
it's creamy,
now.
it's
That
savory,
looks bomb.
it's comforting.
Love that he's using short grain rice, very authentic to Japan. You know, Japan, Korea predominantly uses short grain rice. It's a lot stickier than something like long grain rice or jasmine rice, which I guess you would consider a longer grain rice, which is more aromatic and has more rice separation. I love both. It depends on what I'm eating, really.
I love everything about this. I'm gonna go over there and finish this because I think my clothes are about to start exploding pretty soon, and well, that's a different kind of anime.
Big misstep for me with the sesame oil. Man, he's really going for it. When you eat rice, typically you're holding the bowl closer to your mouth and shoving it in there. But good video, you know, overall great video. I just really did not like that he seared the wings with the sesame oil. Again, maybe I missed that because I didn't watch the actual episode. I was watching a reaction to the episode. So again, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, overall, listen, man, Alvin is clearly like passionate and enjoys what he's doing and, you know, makes fun content. It's just, you know, for the 2 videos I've watched with Alvin, there were some, in my eyes, some missteps. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. But before I close it out, I do want to mention that my band Lost Becomes will be performing April 28th on Long Island at Amityville Music Hall together with Resistor, Beefell, Endless, and Patterns of Decay. Come out hang out. I would love to meet you. Make sure you visit the link in the description below for tickets. And lastly, don't be afraid to fail, cause it can only make you stronger. And with that said, I'm Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical chef, and I'll see you really soon. Focus!